Hello, it's Pete and Corinne here.
And welcome to the Primary Music Show.
Yes, and today I just forgot what we were going to talk about. It's a good start.
Instantly.
Today.
Should we do that again?
No.
Okay, carry on.
It's part of it. We've got to, we can't just come across like there's no flaws.
Well, that's true. We have a lot of flaws.
It's all right. Steady on.
Should we start naming them?
Okay. No. Today we're going to be talking about technology in the classroom.
We are indeed. But when you get to the end of this episode, don't feel like you don't have anywhere to ask questions or anyone to come to for support. We want you to come and join us over in our free Facebook group, which you can find over at theprimarymusic.group.
Please join us. We're very lonely people.
Yeah, we need more people. It's free.
You heard it from the man himself, the man who needs no introduction, Pete Jenkins.
That was a cop-out. You heard it from the woman herself. The woman who also needs no introduction.
That's
Corinne Hope.
That's just cheating. That's really cheating.
Should we just get on with it?
Oh, fine. Okay. So Pete, technology in the classroom. You came up with this subject, so I'm going to let you kick us off.
We did indeed. So we've come a long way from the ideas of maybe when we were in school, which was a scary long time ago. When we were back in school, we would never even think of doing technology, really. We maybe got out an old computer at some point, but now we have technology which can go into recording, we could go into DJ equipment, we can get all of these things to really embellish the music lessons that we have and also bring our music lessons into a modern age, which is really important. And also the kids that you teach nowadays will probably have an iPad or a tablet or something like that at home, so they're used to it, even if you're not. And that means that even with a simple free app like GarageBand, for instance, which is basically an app where you can record instruments, you can play the drums, you can basically use any kind of instrument you want on there, can't you? And you can show that to the class, and even if you've only got one iPad between the whole group, really, they can all take it in turns to play a different instrument on there, and it basically opens your children's brains up to this amazing variety of instruments on offer using the technology.
Yeah, I think it's also really important to note that GarageBand, yes, even though it does have a huge amount of instruments, it gives your children access to levels of songwriting that they might not have been able to do if they had the instruments in front of them in person, because a lot of instruments require quite difficult playing technique. For example, the flute. Now, my experience with the flute is very, very minimal. I think it lasted about 2 weeks having lessons on the flute because I couldn't play it, because I physically could not make it make a sound.
But I can play the flute perfectly on an iPad. It's so easy. It's great.
Yes, you can, but also you still have to be able to choose the notes wisely, and make sure that the arrangements are right. But yes, that is exactly the point that I'm making. You can cheat in that sense, but also it's good for children to be able to see the possibilities of songwriting.
Yeah, definitely.
As opposed to feeling like they are going to struggle, say if they had a piano in front of them and they didn't necessarily know they know how to play a piano, because that's a bad example. The bagpipes. Let's go with
the bagpipes. I don't think that's even on GarageBand.
It might be on GarageBand, but the point still stands, Pete. If they had bagpipes in front of them, there is absolutely no way they would be able to play them. If they had bagpipes as a sound sample,
well, some kids might be able to.
They might, yeah. If they have a lung capacity of a 40-year-old man, sure. But
get in touch, any bagpipe playing children.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, bagpipes maybe not the best example. Again, let's think of another one then, shall we? Right. The point still stands. You know what I'm trying to say.
No, I want another example now.
The
guitar.
No, but you know how to play the guitar.
Not everyone knows how to play a guitar.
Physically, you know how to play the guitar. The accordion.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, the accordion.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult to play.
Yeah, I don't even know how to play the accordion, to be fair.
So it's very, very difficult to play because you've got to have two hands on either side, and then it's also to do with the airflow.
Yeah.
As you squeeze it.
Mm.
And again, that's similar to the bagpipes as well. You're supposed to squeeze the bag, is it? Something like that?
I think.
See, I don't even know how to play it.
Yeah,
so
I think don't you squeeze it with your kind of left arm and then play notes with your right arm?
And then blow.
Yeah, you do blow as well.
Yeah, you do blow as well.
So what's the bag for?
Exactly.
I think the bag's for lower notes, like a bass, like a.
Maybe.
And then you play like a whistle up here.
Okay.
Maybe.
But the point still stands that we don't even know how to play those instruments. Like, to physically play them, we don't know.
Yeah.
So.
And neither does GarageBand.
And neither does no. But the ability to be able to get samples of those and input them as singular notes.
Yeah,
you know,
it's really important.
Is really, really useful.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think just getting your children into the idea of making up a song out of loads of different layers, because the beauty of GarageBand is you can play all these different instruments, but you can also record them in. So you can record a like drum beat at the bottom of your track, and then you can kind of question what instrument you kind of add next, and kind of the normal one would probably be a bass guitar or a guitar or piano or something like that.
We did it recently, didn't we, on our other podcast?
You say recently.
It was a while ago. I say recently,
but it was our last podcast episode.
It was me having a go at GarageBand. So we could probably do that better now, where we actually have the sound recorded in.
Yes.
But
yeah, we've upgraded a lot. But,
since that point, because we've gotten to grips a bit more with technology. But also that's, you know, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making a little song on GarageBand. It was very quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Managed it in about half an hour. I wouldn't say it was a full song, but it was pretty.
Wasn't it Katy Perry or something like that?
No, that was the inspiration.
Oh right, yeah, the inspiration was Katy Perry.
You told me you wanted me to make a Katy Perry style song.
Yep. Yeah.
It was a good pop song. But I think the one that we've been using most recently, as opposed to GarageBand, even though GarageBand's great for songwriting, but for exploring, I think, texture in music, is that Incredibox app.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, Incredibox is so good.
It's incredible.
And also you can get it...
There is...
That was bad. there is the app is... You've got to pay for the app, right?
The app
version.
Yeah.
But there is a completely free website version, which might be even better for kind of using in a classroom. And do you want to kind of... You're the expert on Incredibox. Do you want to describe it?
Because I bought the app and I love it. It is, to be fair, I think it's accessible on any kind of phone, tablet. It's probably better on a tablet, I think, because it's slightly bigger. On a phone, it can be a little bit fiddly, but it's still just as good.
What does it do? For anyone who doesn't know.
Basically... it's a really weird way of describing it. It has about 16 different samples that are all set to the same sort of time. So everything's in beats count of 4.
You can't go out of time.
Yeah, it's impossible to go out of time. And all of these samples are made by someone who has made these sounds through their mouth. So they're all beatbox sounds. And essentially you can just drag and drop these sounds in to different characters that are on the screen and build
up a song.
Build up a song, but build it up in different textures.
Yeah,
so it's the same song all the way through, but it's done in 16 different parts, and you can switch in and out parts. You can solo parts, pause, and play, individual bits.
Yeah, it's just a really easy way of kind of building up a beatbox band, basically, because you can drag and drop like drum parts in there, you can drag like bass notes into it, and whatever you drag in, it will always play at the right time.
Yeah.
So it will start at the end of the next bar if you drag it in before then. And I think it's really, really cool to have in the classroom, even for just kind of a little break or a game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, moving on from that, with technology in the classroom is quite a big topic, isn't it? Because
it's got loads of stuff.
Yeah, because obviously we're talking about how to use that in terms of educating towards, in specific parts of music, songwriting, instrumentation, texture, that sort of thing. But I think a lot of schools at the moment, because of COVID, will be looking into kind of new digital ways of
recording,
but like for concerts and things, end of school and end of term concerts, and I think that's something that's
I've seen that come up on our Facebook group quite a lot, about people asking about how to record or what the best way of getting a really good sound quality is for maybe it's a Zoom end of term conference. I always say conference there.
Concert. It's a very, very, very corporate way of doing a kids show.
The end of term conference, guys. But I think that's really important, and I think it's actually, especially if you've got GarageBand or something like that already loaded up, there are kind of easier versions. Obviously, GarageBand is just for Apple or iOS, but there is definitely, I think there's one called Audacity, which is kind of a recording software which you can download for free for Windows PCs as well. And there's a few ways that I always say you can get the best sound quality for recording in schools. And it's either we used these for a while, the Zoom recorders.
The directional microphones.
So like really portable, so you can just
that was great when we used that.
And they're really high quality now. So they're really good for, it's just basically a audio interface and a microphone in one thing that you can kind of hold in your hand, and you just pretty much just press record and hold it in the right direction. I think
so what's an audio interface? Because you got to think, you are the expert in this. I have no idea. So if imagine I was a teacher. Okay. Well, I am a teacher, but imagine I'm putting on a concert. And I want to be able to record the concert to the highest quality I can. I have a very small budget. How would I do that?
Okay, so there is two ways of doing that. It's either get one of these Zoom recorders, which are basically an all-in-one way of recording audio, and then basically you can just, once you've clicked record and press stop afterwards, you basically just have to point it in the right direction, and it will pretty much always have a really nice recording at the end of it. And then after that, you just plug it into a computer, and the MP3 or WAV files will be available like there, and you can just drag them onto your computer. That's kind of the easy way of doing it, but there are a lot of limitations with that, because obviously you can't record two things at once using different microphones, things like that, and you also can't then edit them at all after you've gone and
you can't mix them.
You can't mix them.
Individual parts.
Yes, exactly. And the way to get mixable tracks, and that doesn't sound that sounds more complicated than it is, but it's to get what we call an audio interface. And audio interfaces are basically recording devices that basically take an analog signal, which basically our voice, and it takes the signal that the microphone sends and it puts it into a computer. So it's a box, and you can get really cheap ones now. They kind of the ones I always say to go for are Focusrite Scarlets, because they're really they're cheap and they're really good.
Very popular.
Yes, but basically all it does is you plug a microphone into there, and then you connect the other side of the box to your computer, and it gets that microphone signal into your computer. That's all an audio interface does, really.
But then in the computer, what do you need? Do you need a program for that?
Yeah, so the one we were talking about earlier, which is GarageBand, is really, you can record straight into that, but that is only Apple. The other one I mentioned was Audacity, which is basically another recording program.
A free one for Windows.
It's another free one for Windows that you can just record audio in. And all you basically do once the audio interface is plugged into the computer, all you have to do is go into Audacity and select the audio interface as like where it wants to pick up audio from, and then it will record straight into Audacity for you. And the beauty of that is then you can plug two microphones into the audio interface, and it will come up as separate audio files in Audacity or GarageBand or whatever program you want to choose to record into.
Yeah, and if you want to go even more pro, you could get Logic Pro X or Pro Tools.
Yeah,
if you want to go really pro, like
it's kind of GarageBand and then Logic after that.
Yeah,
and then if you really want Pro Tools, but I probably wouldn't recommend it to many teachers, really,
unless they had a history of audio engineering. But
yes, exactly.
Definitely, the more advanced software you go for, the more complicated it gets.
Yeah,
I think.
Exactly. So Logic is kind of the professional version
of GarageBand. Yeah.
Really, it does.
And it looks very similar, to be fair.
It is very similar, and if you wanted to kind of take a step up from GarageBand in your classroom, Logic is probably the way to go.
It tends to be more for secondary school, though, I would say.
Definitely more for secondary school. Yeah. I think year sixes could probably just about handle it if they wanted to.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
you did music technology in secondary school, didn't you? And that was all on Logic, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was... It wasn't actually.
Was it not?
No, because we had a Windows computer. It was actually all on a thing called Cubase.
Oh, Cubase. Yeah, I forgot about Cubase.
So I think we did... I think we used Cubase at school, at A-levels at some point, didn't we? But Cubase is kind of probably a little bit too complicated as well for just literally recording little audio files here and there.
I mean, I definitely recommend. So, it would be the Audacity or GarageBand, wouldn't it? Really,
they're the two
for primary age children, anyway.
Yeah, and they're both free as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You just can't go wrong with.
And it's a great step in the right direction, because in secondary school you can sometimes be offered music technology lessons, and if you've already got experience in that.
Yeah,
that's great,
really
because
cool.
a lot of the time, we're seeing a huge drop in kids taking up actual instruments.
Yeah, definitely.
And going into secondary school and carrying on doing music after primary. Yeah, exactly. So if they're introduced to music technology earlier, I think that'd be great, because it's more of what they're listening to at the moment. It's not necessarily sounds that have been generated from actual instruments, but sounds that have been generated from synthesizers and computers.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what's
popular right now, isn't it, really? And I think if we can kind of introduce that technology into primary schools earlier, I think you'll actually win back the kids that are kind of
it's more exciting.
Going off the radar of music a little bit, because they don't particularly want to learn like classical music or anything like that. And there's nothing wrong with classical music, but it's not that exciting for primary children.
Well, you can segue back to classical music, because it's more about the you can look at where the inspirations were in that sense. So you're looking at modern music, and you're looking at the composition styles and structures and textures, etc., and styles of electronic instruments, and then you look at what that's all based off of in history, where that comes from and how genres have expanded from certain places, and it all comes back down more to history again, I think, and it's really important to reference those things, and kids get a really good understanding. Whether or not starting with those things is a good idea, I think this is what we're saying, is that actually we need to engage children first
and then teach them. Yeah, kind of engage them or inspire them
and
first,
then exactly,
and then teach them the background about it.
And I think that's what technology can do, because we're in that generation of technology everywhere, constantly. You
can't get away from it nowadays.
And I think teachers need to embrace that, because I think a lot of them aren't from that generation, like ourselves. We were quite lucky. We grew up in the generation where
we were in the crossover.
The crossover was happening, so we got very used to technology, because we were still at that age where it was pretty accessible. But I can definitely feel for someone who is not from one of those generations, because it does feel completely foreign and alien. But I think it's just a case of more training needs to be provided for that.
Yeah, I think
for teachers especially.
Yeah, definitely. I think if we gave a little bit of training to primary teachers who weren't comfortable with technology, I think they'd embrace it more, and they'd probably get excited about it more as well. And that excitement goes straight through to the children as well.
Yeah, and I think we'd probably end up seeing in the long run a larger uptake of music lessons.
Yeah, definitely would. Yeah, especially going on to secondary school. You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think it just, like I said, comes down to the feeling comfortable with it. And the only way to feel comfortable with it is to just throw yourself in the deep end and try it.
And I think a lot of modern, I'll say modern music, but I think a lot of them are based around synthesizers and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Which is kind of, I think that's the scary point, because a lot of teachers or even children don't know how to create that sound, and they wouldn't even know where to start with. And I think even just get this kind of moving on to another point, which is electronic keyboards.
Yeah.
And that is just kind of a really good starting point of getting synths in the classroom, because they've all got loads and loads of sounds that you can pick from, and you can make it sound like a synth really, really easily.
Yeah.
And if you record, you could literally plug that into an audio interface like we talked about earlier, and you can record that straight into GarageBand, and then you've got a synth, which you can record in. And I'm sure GarageBand probably has a synth setting, I would assume.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yes. They've got quite a few different electronic keyboard synth settings.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think, just going back to what I said, I think it's just a case of have a go and do it. Do it before you introduce it to the class.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to experience it first.
Yeah,
and
have a play with it.
Make a song.
Yeah.
Download Incredibox. It's really, really fun. And I'm an adult, and I love it. And I'm not necessarily saying I'm very good at it. I'm awful at using GarageBand.
Yeah.
I'm really bad with that sort of side of stuff. You're the expert, but I can get by.
Yeah.
And that's only from trying it.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think a really good other technology to have in the classroom as well is kind of moving into DJ equipment, which I think we've had a little chat about before, and I think we've got a few pieces of training on it on the Musical Me, which is kind of bringing turntables and things like that into the classroom. And they, even if the classroom just has one DJ decks kind of thing, the idea that you can then put modern music probably that the kids really like, and you can put that into a deck, and you can play two at the same time using these decks. And I can't remember the one. What is the DJ decks that we said about? Can't remember.
No idea.
I'll put it on the website.
Yeah, find the link.
Yeah, check the blog, and I will put the decks on there that we did a video about. But basically, what you can do then is you can play two songs at the same time, and you can try and match them together by kind of correcting the BPM, the beats per minute of each song, and you can make them work together. And that's I think it was a blog post from Future DJs who were talking about kind of the teamwork involved in taking decks into a primary school, and they were basically playing two drum beats on two different decks, and they were getting the children to kind of use, you have BPM sliders, and they were basically setting them, and then they were getting the children to work together to sync their two songs at the same BPM, but without looking at the BPM counter of it.
Yeah.
And that kind of teamwork there, because they were listening to the same thing and they had to work out which one was too fast, which one was too slow.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a really easy way of just and once you can get them to do a drum beat like that, you can kind of put it in, you can put songs especially club mixes and things like that because we always talk about George Ezra Shotgun. There will be a club mix of that song. There will be a club mix of.
I swear that gets mentioned every single podcast we do.
I think it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
We promise we're not paying him.
Dance Monkey. Probably a club mix that starts with some drums of Dance Monkey. And if you can match the two BPMs of the drums at the start of club mixes, then when the songs kick in together, they will sound okay.
Probably all right.
Maybe okay.
Maybe.
I think, but that's a starting point of kids.
The whole
isn't
point
it?
is to do with the beat matching, isn't it?
Yes,
and timing,
exactly,
and
yeah.
it's not necessarily about making it sound brilliant
No,
at that
of course it's not.
age. It's just
Yeah.
about in getting them used to beats and times.
Yeah, exactly.
And rhythm.
No, it is really, really important though. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Have you got a game for me?
I think we it's about time for a game, isn't it?
Go on then. Our weekly not weekly. Our podcast challenge.
It is weekly now. This is the start.
Oh yeah, we're going to be more committed this year.
Not committed. We are committed. Just
busy.
we had a break.
Yeah.
But yes, this is now a weekly game, so that's fun.
And I even have a little timer here.
Yeah, we're even filming it, so you can check it on YouTube and you can see the adorable little timer that's obviously come out of
a board game,
a Christmas cracker or a board game.
A board game from my
living room. Do we know
room.
that that's a minute?
I think so.
It's a random amount of sound.
Yeah, but usually they're set to a minute, aren't they?
Yeah, true.
How do they know that when they put the sound in?
Yeah, true. But we don't. we'll assume that it's going to be a minute.
Okay.
And then we'll put in. Because the only thing I'm thinking here, which is going to be funny, is when we try and edit this afterwards and we put that backing track in for the minute that everyone assumes we play over the top, but we don't put it in afterwards. It's going to be really out, and that'll be really funny.
Okay.
So, today I would like you, Corinne, to name me as many artists beginning with the letter C. Starting now.
Cardi B.
Good start. And that's where it ends.
The Carpenters.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you can have the...
Shaka Khan.
Yep.
Charlie XX.
Oh yeah.
Is that what they're called?
XCX.
XCX, that's right.
Yeah.
Charlie Pluth. Puth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it Poof or Boo?
No, it's Puth, isn't it? Puth. Oh gosh. C. Cedar Green.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's great.
The timer.
Oh. I bet you can't see this on the video, actually, can you? Here we are.
Why would you do that? Oh God. Why do I have Chanel and Coco Chanel in my head, but it's not? That's some perfume brand.
Yeah, that's perfume.
Yeah,
that's time.
How many did I get?
7.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all, actually.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read you a few?
Do I want to know?
Cage the Elephant.
Yeah, okay.
It's a really long list. Carrie Underwood.
I was
good.
thinking of her.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah. I tried.
Yeah, you did try really, and it was good.
I'll get you next time.
It's probably better than I'm going to do in the next one. So.
I'll get you next time.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. You see, I think one more thing that kids should try.
What?
This.
Oh, podcasting.
Why not get kids to talk? Record it. Put it for the parents at home. You can upload it to SoundCloud or something like that.
They do like talking.
They do like talking.
But what they would talk about, I don't know. But actually, that's probably a podcast I would listen to.
That is a podcast I'd listen to.
You know, they have The Secret Life of 5-year-olds.
Oh, the secret podcast of 5-year-olds.
Could you imagine if they're just given a random topic and they have to discuss it?
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
That would be adorable.
They could easily talk for 45 minutes.
I know, it'd be much more simple than us trying to do it. That is a podcast I would like to see. I'd like to have formally pitched that to Channel 4.
Who out there is going to start recording that for us? Cause
Secret Life of 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds podcast. Please do it.
It would just be such a happy episode.
It really would.
Yeah.
It would just make my day, I think.
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Because that's part of what the most amazing thing about it is just listening to their conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And not many of them make sense, do they?
Exactly. And that's why it's so wonderful.
Also, the bluntness of it. I think we should have one adult in the room that all the...
Just in case.
No, just because all the kids will just be like, they'll just tell the truth about that adult, won't they?
Well, now I'm more
take the
thinking
mick
that
out of them.
they might fall out with each other because that's sometimes what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Yeah, like behaviour prevention.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah,
You know, they've got to play nice. No one wants to listen to crying children on podcasts.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that wouldn't be nice, would it? Well, I think we've got off topic there a little bit. So should we leave it there for this week?
I think we've pretty much covered it.
I think we have. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Come say hello.
Come say
Be
hello.
in the know.
Be
with
in the
the
know.
Primary Music Show.